Collective, I don't know what this is about, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. You got somebody finding out why they really with the person they with. You could be finding this out. Could be dealing with a Pisces, dealing with an Aquarius. It could be Aquarius dealing with a Pisces. Or this could have, Pisces and Aquarius in their chart somewhere. All right. Um, it's regarding, possibly somebody with the Eight of Cups and the Five of Swords. Somebody had to walk away. For them to end up with somebody else, if they chose somebody else over you, or they ended up going in another direction after you walked away, they may have had no other choice but to walk away. You know what I'm saying? They may have put you in some type of competition, you know what I'm saying, by feeling some type of intimidation, or they felt like it was going to be some hostility, between you and them if they came towards you or something like that, like it was going to be a back and forth or some type of conflict, a battle or something like that. Whether it was between you and a past person or whoever past person was involved with, if they felt like, basically somebody probably got with another person, Eight of Cups, over the fact that they felt abandoned, or the fact that you moved on, walked away, gave up, you know what I'm saying, on trying to wait on this person, or, trying to get this person the benefit of the doubt package, you know what I'm saying? But this is why somebody finding out why he really with her. You know what I'm saying? Whoever this past person moved on to, or whoever you moved on from, and they got involved with, or they were, had you in some type of competition with, this is how they ended up with them. Okay, so the point was, whoever I'm talking to, you walked away from somebody, you ended something, Six of Swords, possibly with a Pisces that have no other reason, they have no other, option but to walk away, move on. You know what I'm saying? They may have, tried or had other options, opportunities where they tried to stick around or try to keep you around, and they failed at it. You know what I'm saying? They may have had other people, other situations that, may not have showed, some type of success, but this one is one of them that they definitely feel like they may have, had just had to move on. You know what I'm saying? Or you left this person with no other choice but to move on. They may have put you in some type of competition with themselves or somebody else. Okay? If they were competing with you, you know what I'm saying, because they felt intimidated by you, or you may have had a lot going for yourself, and possibly this masculine or feminine felt some type of way about that, and they may have been competing with you for this person. They may have ended up with your person because you fucking walked away. All right? So that's how they ended up with the person. They finding out why this person is really with them, because you abandoned this person. You walked away, you gave up, you know what I'm saying? You didn't want to try no more. They may have felt like, they ain't had no other choice but to move on when you did. Eight of Cups came out, but this is the card. Somebody finding out why he really with her. You could be finding this out. They could be finding out why he really with them, but the Eight of Cups came out. And the Five of Swords. Somebody could be 85. Somebody could be born in 85. Somebody could be 58. All right, but the Five of Swords came out as well. Aquarius energy. Eight of Cups, Pisces energy. And then at the bottom of the deck, you got the Seven of Wands. Leo. Somebody could have fire in their chart. Aquarius, you could have fire in your chart. Could be somebody faithful, trustworthy, Page of Pentacles, you know what I'm saying? Could be, starting a new project or something like that, working on something new, building up your finances. Eight of Pentacles could be working hard, focusing on what you're doing. You've ascended, you got some, whatever it is you're doing right now, you could be happy, enjoying what you're doing, in this King of Swords energy. So you could have a King of Swords coming towards you, either way. But I feel like somebody at one point, had an opportunity to come towards you, and they may have resisted, or you may have never given this person another thought. You know what I'm saying? You may have had your guard up with this person after realizing, this person may have been indecisive, or they were competing with you instead of, being one with you, or, coming together with you as a, as a partner. They may have, felt more intimidated by the fact that you, may have, all of a sudden, got up on your shit, got your shit together or whatever, may have become a little more stable than they expected you to, or they seen you rise from the ashes. Okay? So, somebody finding out why why this masculine is actually with them, then I'm getting that. All right? So, whatever reason somebody ended up with your person, it's mainly because eight of cups. This person may have had no other option but to, move on, and they ended up with that person that they with. It ain't because that person, defeated you in any kind of way or, competed, you know what I'm saying, where they won, this person over. It was the fact that you walked away. And you left this person with no other reason, no other choice but to walk away. They may have felt abandoned by you, you know what I'm saying? They may have gotten back with this person or gotten involved or went over there with this person hoping that, that they could get that person to compete or they could flex and get you to come back around and, cause some kind of conflict or something between you and them, or they just felt intimidated by you, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe this person, felt intimidated by you and they wanted to compete with this person for you, but they ended up with them. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's because, you walked away from this person. But now, standing up for what you know to be right, especially when it comes to being defensive, having your guard up. Mm. Clarify the Eight of Cups. Clarify the Eight of Cups by itself. What's the Eight of Cups by itself? What's the Eight of Cups? You got the Nine of Cups. With the moon at the bottom of the deck. And the Strength. So, with this Nine of Cups, Pisces energy again. Child, I feel like somebody got with another person, possibly, for some type of material success with this Nine of Cups, or because this person may, have felt like, they this person had maybe showed or spent more, trying to express, how they felt about this person. They may have, invested a lot in this masculine, and they may be with them for, the fact that this person pours into them. You know what I'm saying? May get them things to keep them around and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They may, have invested in this person, in your person, or they may have, partnered with this person in some way with this Nine of Cups, but they could have definitely, because Nine of Cups talks about, it's emotions and stuff like that involved, but that could be the fact that somebody, is joyful, cheerful, and stuff like that when it comes to the things that they achievement. The achievement of whatever it is that they, moving toward, or, what they were after in the first place. And they may have gotten with this person because this person may have, doubled in their finances. Being with this person may have, they may, like I said, they may have invested and poured into this person. You know what I'm saying? They may have lined their pockets, you know what I'm saying? They may have, seen them as abundance. You know what I'm saying? They seen them as somebody, that they can, like profit off of, you know what I'm saying? But you got the moon at the bottom of the deck. So somebody, is not, they could be listening to their intuition, or somebody is trying to make somebody question it. Because you got heavy Pisces out here. With the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the moon. and the strength, like I said, behind that, and the Ace of Wands. Like somebody trying to, paint an illusion, or they were trying to get you, to question your intuition when it came to something they were doing, or the fact that, they may have gotten involved with somebody, behind the scenes, that they may have put you in some type of silent competition with, all because this person may have felt intimidated by you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they thought, this person was going to get away from them, so they invested in them or some shit like that. Yeah. Because I feel like somebody, was trying to get something done, by way of deception. You know what I'm saying? Or like making somebody believe there was some hint of deception there, between you and them. Or between a Pisces and an Aquarius. Somebody, felt like it was some deception between the two. Like either you lost some distrust or some dishonesty happened, or this person, was involved with somebody else that kind of, cast a shadow and made them, how sometimes players be scared of getting played, but at the same time, the thing that they think they're trying to protect themselves from by being promiscuous and just, being open to, explore, is just them being in fear of being done the way they done did people. And how easily they were able to do it. Like I said, if you're not going to invest in the right person the right way, don't fuck around and teach them how to play you because you played them. Because if you play somebody and they have time to, to listen to their thoughts and actually, trust their intuition, when they realize, their intuition was on point the first time, ain't too many times, if ever, they gonna fuck around and question that, and find out again that they were on to something and they didn't act on it. Especially when it's your ways. If it's that person's ways, they actually teaching you how to do that shit. They teaching you how it's done. They teaching you how they were able to do it, how long, and why they were able to do it so long. And you can either, get that person back in a whole different way on that same shit that they was doing, or you could just move on. You know what I'm saying? And just look at the situation for what it is. Take accountability because you know what I'm saying? Read the pages backwards, you know what I'm saying, instead of forward. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you don't want to believe that somebody, would do you that way, even though, you giving them the best of you and you being honest and straight up with them. You'll think they'll realize that and see that and appreciate it. But sometimes people don't. They'll take advantage of that and rub it in your face or rub it in their friends and family face that you know what I'm saying, that you 100 with them. And there's some toxic ass family that'll be okay with that shit too. And they'll be calling you a fool right along with this person for being just authentically you. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be okay with the fact that they family member, they son, they brother, they cousin is fucking over you. Okay? So very few family actually get on their people ass about, the low down shit that they be doing, especially their parents. Because they gonna always take their kids, some of them always do. The majority of them do, because they, don't want to be in their kids' business. That's their life. They got to grow up. They got to mature, in they whatever way. But you got, the parent that get involved when they decide they want to marry that person, when they decide they want to put their hand on that person. Now you involved. You don't get to pick and choose what part of your child's life you're going to be involved in when they come to them dating, getting married, and having a family and all that. You don't get to pick a part, because at any given time, that person, actions is going to reflect back on you. Whether they need your help, whether you got to vouch for whatever it is this person said, wherever they said they was at, you know what I'm saying, whoever they said knew them, you know what I'm saying, whoever they said can vouch for them, all that. You ain't going to be able to wiggle your way, in and out of certain parts of your kids' lives, you know what I'm saying, even though they have that ability, that time to be responsible for themselves. But this person only ended up with whoever they was with because of the success, because of what they was getting out of it. Whatever kind of, opportunities. They could have been an opportunist. They could have got with this, ended up with the person they was with because this person opened doors for them. The next card you got out here is Cove. Okay? They could have got involved with this person because this person, opened doors for them, like I said. They may have, had people in this group of people that they, with, whether it's a fraternity, a sorority, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, whatever. They gonna look out, they gonna do, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be people in that same group of folks that's gonna, feel like, like that Scientology shit. Like they gonna partner, give you a PR relationship to be in. It's gonna bring you in some money, some clout, people gonna follow you, people gonna, you know what I'm saying, invest and show interest in shit like that as long as y'all together because of how it looks. How y'all look together. Don't mean that y'all actually get along and love each other. But it just may be a business deal. Like most people look at their marriages, you know what I'm saying, in Hollywood anyway. It's a business contract. Okay? So like I said, you got the moon at the bottom of the deck with the strength. So somebody may be trying to create illusions or deception for somebody, but they too goddamn strong willed. Somebody is too advanced and too smart. You know what I'm saying? With the strength. And somebody's, protective of their sacral chakra. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody trying to pull from another person or thinking that, that they going to affect, somebody's strong will, their ability to keep moving, you know what I'm saying? And they just ain't. Somebody is too, their frequency is too high. They vibing too high for somebody, to create or make them question their intuition and their illusion. This is somebody that'll walk away from whoever this is before, they entertain some bullshit. So if somebody was trying to, paint an illusion or make somebody, cause somebody, fear going towards you because you might have something else going on or they're going to be broke if they do, whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? You too strong-willed, for something like that, to, well, they were doing it to this person. They may have been trying to paint illusions and cause some type of deception, making this person think it was some type of deceit going on between you and them for them to end up with this person. Okay? So if somebody telling them, if that person doing this, doing that, you don't know if that person doing this, doing that. So it's some conflict going back and forth. It was a battle, a struggle, you know what I'm saying? When they, being with this person and they may have, had this person thinking that, if you do go over here to the collective, you're going to be, I'm going to take you for everything you got. You know what I'm saying? You better off, being with me, building over here and shit like that in this community with us and whatever the case may be. Because this is, about intuition too. Because I feel like somebody wanted to make somebody question their intuition by way of painting different illusions and making up, certain scenarios and shit like that for this person that have to, sit and modulate about and shit like that about somebody that just because they, ain't as weak as they thought they were. Especially if they thought you were too weak to walk away, if they didn't think you had the willpower to walk away and leave this person. And even if they did, they made this person, this Pisces, feel as though it was over somebody else. Or that you had somebody else or some shit like that. Like they had them in some type of competition. They did what they had to do to get this person over there with them, and that's where they at. That's how they got there. Alright? But at the end of the day, there's a passionate new beginning here with the Ace of Wands, where there's forward movement. 2 of Cups, 10 of Cups, all at the bottom of the deck. So at the end of the day, this person could have possibly, ended up with somebody just because they felt like, it was some type of success. And whether somebody, kind of instructed them or guided them, or had them believing that this was the better choice or something like that because of whoever this. Because on the back side of this card is the coven. So this person could be part of a cult group. They could be part of a coven. Or dark women. You know what I'm saying? Dark-hearted, dark-spirited women. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, hell, some people don't realize certain people they get involved with, whether they, in a sisterhood, they in a fraternity, a sorority, they don't be giving a damn. They just looking, oh, my wife, my girl, she did, But yeah, a lot of times, you're going to have to go through the motions of being with somebody like that and not knowing, what they actually tapping into. And you laying with them, you saying you breaking bread with them, you spending money on them, you entering all type of contracts with them. And these are the same contracts you got to turn back around and call your energy back from and repent and go back to your ancestors and your spirit team and the Most High God and Mother God and tell them how unknowingly or how recklessly you know what I'm saying, you misuse your energy with somebody that you know, intentionally did not do your research on, and you were more in a lustful energy, because that's a contract all by itself. All by itself. You know what I'm saying? And it leaves you open to all kind of goddamn demonic attachments and shit like that that you don't know is getting in the way of your success, until people start calling their energy back, start shutting your ass out, sending your energy back to you and everything it come with, and then you left with that, and now you feel like the whole world got the weight on it, you know, the weight of the world is on your shoulders, when it's really just your energy being sent back to you that you never worked on, things about yourself you never faced, you know what I'm saying, things about yourself that you get triggered by dealing with other people that you don't walked away from, or that had to walk away from this person. You know what I'm saying? So it don't help to run away from your shadow side. It don't help to blame the other person for some connection, friendship, relationship that did not work out. It don't help to point the finger. Because I promise you, the people pointing the finger got some work to do on themselves too. It may not be a lot, but it's work. It's work. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, so far you got Pisces energy out here, along with Aquarius with the Five of Swords. All right, but let's get a clear on this Five of Swords. What's the Five of Swords? The other card out here is keep a dream journal. I don't know if you already keep one, collective. What's the Five of Swords about? What's the Five of Swords about? Clarify the Five of Swords. Clarify the Five of Swords. Finding out why he really with her. What's the Five of Swords? Clarify the Five of Swords. Finding out why he really with her. So you got the Seven of Wands. Leo energy. So like I said, somebody's defensive, especially when it comes to them, you know, taking this leap of faith, but it's also about them, you know, fighting for what you know to be right. You know what I'm saying? Standing up for yourself. Speaking up for yourself. And this is why somebody feel like Five of Swords, you know, if they came back around, like I said, there was going to be some type of dispute. There was going to be some type of conflict. So this person went back the other way because they didn't want to have to be faced with you, you know, having your guard up and having to get past all that, having to hear, you know, why they got cut off, or why, you know, you moving on, or why they need to move on. You know what I'm saying? And trying to work things out. All right. So this is how somebody ended up, like I said, with that other person. That person didn't win the competition. It was the fact that you didn't want to compete for this person. And you had your guard up. You were defensive. You know what I'm saying? And whatever it was that they felt like they was trying to get through to you about, you know, when it came to them wanting to have some type of victory with you, or, you know, thinking that they were going to have some type of success, you know what I'm saying? Or opportunists, you know what I'm saying, looking for all this advancement, this wish fulfillment, you know what I'm saying, a wish come true kind of thing, you know what I'm saying. But this is why somebody ended up with the person they was with, because Five of Swords, this person was sitting up here thinking that, you know, if they came towards you, it was going to be some type of dispute or some kind of conflict or something like that. There was going to be some type of back and forth between you and them, or them and the person that they got involved with. They may have felt like that person was going to try to come towards you if they came your way, so they stayed with the person. It's like somebody saying, well, I don't want no drama. If I can't come toward a collective without this person following me, you know, bringing our connection or, my involvement with them up. And I ain't gonna let this shit go. I ain't gonna be able to be over here with the collective because the collective ain't gonna put up with this shit. The collective gonna know I was over here dealing with this person and wasn't even serious about this person, but I'm gonna have to be serious about this person now because the collective done walked away. And they got their guard up. 5 of Swords, 7 of Wands. Somebody could be 57, somebody could be 58. Okay? But it's the thing of that person, feeling as though, you gonna stand your ground. And you got your guard up with that person, like, it's and even if it's this person that they dealing with, they know that there's gonna be some type of competition or some back and forth, some arguments, some shit that, some people ain't gonna like, the fact that if they walk away from this person and come towards you, or the fact that if they walk away from this person to come towards you, they may have to, stand their ground with that person. You know what I'm saying? When it come to them wanting to come towards you. Because if that person they, went on and got involved with or had you in some type of silent competition with, or if they ass was in a competition with you and they ended up over here with somebody else thinking that was going to be a flex, that person may not be willing to just let them walk away. Because they may have invested a good little bit of, their time and money into this person. You know what I'm saying? And they may have, looked at your person may have gotten, they may have opened some doors for your person. You know what I'm saying? For them, to advance and move up the, in the ranks or something like that, or help them, succeed. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to success, in areas that they may have, needed some doors open. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they got involved with somebody that can do that. They know people that know people. You know what I'm saying? But with this 7 of Wands is giving somebody, being defensive. You know what I'm saying? Standing their ground, when it comes to, standing up for what they know to be right. And speaking up for themselves. Got the 8 of Wands at the bottom of the deck with this Devil and the Ace of Pentacles. And the 6 of Cups. 3 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So yeah, somebody, Sagittarius, out here now with this 8 of Wands in the bottom of the deck. And Leo with his 7 of Wands. But somebody making some fast moving that could be traveling towards you. This person may know, you know what I'm saying, that they got some addictions. They may have, some things that they know, about them that was toxic. They may know, you know what I'm saying, they got a history of like some, some unhealthy connections they done been in, dealing with some unhealthy, toxic people, you know what I'm saying, with some, some toxic, ways, some unhealed behavior. You know what I'm saying? They may be coming towards you, knowing this. They know this thing, you know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to them being, feeling like there's some type of disconnect. They feel like they were backed into a corner. Like they may feel like, these addictions or some type of lifestyle or something like that, they may just feel restricted. Like cut off. Somebody want to come in, hot and fast, but they also know, that they possibly, may have some negativity, you know what I'm saying, that they still got to work on when it come to them that they're aware of. They're aware of it. Definitely they're aware of it now. You know what I'm saying? But they want a new opportunity. They want a new opportunity because they wasn't working, with you. They may have, lack of cooperation. The next card, like I said, you got Keep a Dream Journal Collective. I don't know if you already do that, man or woman. But you got the 9 of Wands that came out in reverse, to clarify that Sagittarius energy. So you may not, feel as though like you may feel like, success wise or action like you not as just feeling like giving up. You know what I'm saying? You may feel like, some of the things that you're working on, may never, it ain't going to get to where it need to be. It may be, very challenging right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just saying, you could be working on something right now where you may not be doing as well as you want to. And it could make you want to give up. It could make you want to just, stop and not, let me give you an example. Let's say you new on TikTok, right? And you got people, constantly saying, make content, just post, just post, just post. Like you may not feel as though you got anything going on to post about. even if you just had to make the shit up, and even that you don't want to do because that's not something you do. So that alone makes you still not post something for the you know what I'm saying, as much at all since you've been on there. All right. But don't be, paranoid. You know what I'm saying? Don't let paranoia be something that makes you defensive. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it come to everybody out to get you. You know what I'm saying? Because you hear people say, "Oh man, I got scammed doing this, man." Somebody said they wanted me to, be a spokesperson for their content. You know what I'm saying? For something they working on, or a product they trying to advertise. They want me to do this on my page for them, and this and that. They gonna give me a cut. You know what I'm saying? But then you got some people that be sending you them DMs and shit like that. Trying to hit you up, and they be bogus, and they'll steal your content and use your face or use a video or you any damn way. They'll use a photo. They'll use, you know what I'm saying, a post that you did talking about something, you know what I'm saying, that you used that was theirs, and they'll use it and put it on their page anyway without, you signing off on it or nothing. But then that one time that somebody fucked over you, it's like you start thinking anytime somebody did you about, working with you and shit like that, you just, no, that's a scam. No, that's a scam too. That's a scam. All of them may not be, but you're going to be tested in, you allowing something, to be something you make, wise decisions about, and not feel like everybody that want to work with you is out to get you. You know what I'm saying? If it's business, if it's love, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not out to get you. Okay? But again, like I said, the 9 of Wands came out, Sagittarius energy. So, you may be feeling like keep a dream journal. Because something may be shown to you in your dream state as to, whatever it is that you really want to do. Because you got the 9 of Cups that came out, clarifying this 9 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. So 999 could be of significance. That angel number, you could be seeing that. But definitely look it up. You know what I'm saying? 1999 could be, of significance. But like I said, the 9 of Cups came out in reverse and the 4 of Cups came out in reverse. All right, so whatever it is that you want to do, take time, to not be discouraged by what it is you want to do when it comes to your success. You may feel like, you underachievement. You may feel like whatever it is that you want to come from whatever it is you're working on may not be coming. So you may need to take a break and, you know what I'm saying, and actually, look into something that you really like. You know what I'm saying? Because looking outside of something, or somebody for happiness without looking in, for yourself, like looking at yourself, at whoever this is, they may have to do it or you have to do it, but keep a dream journal. Because I feel like when it comes to, somebody dealing with this, whether it's you or somebody in your energy collective, it's like somebody needs to look within themselves at what really makes them happy. Because if somebody thought 9 of Cups, that being with different people or being with somebody that's an opportunist or being an opportunist, and being with somebody just because of what they do for work and shit like that, or who gonna open doors for them, or being part of this group or going to this particular church, was gonna open doors for them, giving to this, this foundation and all this, paying my dues and all this shit, it's supposed to have got me here and this and that. I did what they told me, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Got to be mindful of like making sure your definition of success is realistic. Okay? Because sometimes some people think success is having 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cars out the yard, big old 2-story house and all that shit. Success for some people don't take all that. You know what I'm saying? But your definition of success, need to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like somebody, success at what they thought they was going to have with somebody else, by being with somebody else for that reason, thinking that was going to make them happy. It wasn't. It wasn't. But keep a dream journal, because 4 Cups, is also in reverse. Like I said, that came out. So it's also, given that somebody, could be, feeling like they don't have any inspiration. You know what I'm saying? They could be making, you know what I'm saying, new plans, new goals for themselves, finding a new way, to express, how they feel, how they want to, be seen, or how they want to represent, how they want to show up for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Other ways to like express how they feel, because maybe how they were trying to express how they feel in the past towards you, was not as healthy as they thought it was. They may not have thought, they may have thought, that was, oh shit, I did that with Erica. I did that with Tim before. I did that with Charles one time, and it went pretty good. It may not have lasted long, but at the end of the day, everybody can't be treated the same way. And everybody don't deserve to be treated the same way if you don't have, valid reason to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because some folks can just as easily as they met a person and ran into them, walk away from them before you have to do some foul shit to them. You know what I'm saying? So some people ought to feel like somebody ghosting you. Long as that person able to ghost you, shit, walk away. Because some folks can, ghost you, and folks will go back to them, and next thing you know, they missing. You know what I'm saying? Family feeling concerned about them. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I mean, whatever you looking for, or whoever somebody was looking for, to be happy with, or thought happiness, was in, them having all this shit right here. You know what I'm saying? Or having all the opportunities, to be with this person, that got this and that going on. Let me surround myself with a whole bunch of people that just got a lot going for themselves and shit like that. So that way I can get on my shit. You know what I'm saying? Let me get with some people that got their shit together. Let me get with some people that got a little more than me. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be mindful of how these people got their shit. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody you get with, and that, you feel like spending good money, and, it's feeling good all the time, of course, that's all, that's a given for anybody that want that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes folks be wanting, a successful person, to approach them and be in their life and not know what they do for work. Somebody can, it's like, it's giving that movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. They up there, about to take each other out, and they madly in love with each other until they realize, exactly what both of them do for work, and that both of them jobs got them turning on each other. Now you got to determine whether you want to be with this person, or do you want to take this person out, or can you take this person out? What's more important, your job or the person? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have to look at, what's paying your bills, and look at who, where your heart is telling you, you belong, or where you feel like this magnetic attraction, this connection you have with somebody, what's more valuable? What you getting paid an hour for, who you working for, or is it, what I'm saying, worth the person that you have to take out? I mean, do you really want to take this person out? Is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? So at the bottom of this deck, because I use two different decks, to clarify on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But at the bottom of the deck, you got the Queen of Wands in reverse. When it comes to taking this dream journal, so somebody vengeful, spiteful and shit like that, could be going on right now when it comes to this person having some nostalgia. Six of Cups, it could have, this could be a baby mama. This could be, somebody that's, dealing with some, past memories, some childhood memories, or there's some memories they haven't, of you and them when it comes to, some of the things they may have, felt like they lost their way. You know what I'm saying? Like they wasn't, especially if somebody walking away from somebody that they, know they didn't really have no feelings for and shit like that. And this is a, connection that's ended that, they really weren't supposed to go nowhere anyway, or wasn't going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, at the end of the day, this person could have went in that direction with another person that they ended up with, thinking that was going to be, a success story, and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody was looking for happiness and, being, an opportunist, or, thinking that, being with that person was going to put them where they needed to be, and they would be happy there. Especially if somebody was telling them, they could do this for them. You know what I'm saying? I got this and that going on. So we get together, we can, build all this success. We can have all this going on. But if this person walk away from them, they could lose everything. You get what I'm saying? And this person, I'll be more than willing, Queen of Wands, to snatch that shit from them. Just being spiteful and vengeful and shit, jealous. You know what I'm saying? Envious. But at the end of the day, this is somebody that they may have gotten involved with that, is part of some type of coven or cult, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that they, may have ended up being in a contract with this person just by laying with them, spending with them, you know what I'm saying? And partaking and accepting gifts from them and all this shit right there. So when you calling for your energy back, make sure you are calling your energy back and getting rid of shit that people done gave you, for whatever reason, gifts and shit like that, and you don't plan on fucking with that person no more. Get rid of them damn gifts. Oh, but I use that. Get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that person can always use that to pull on your energy and, their intentions, of what they want to use that certain thing, item that they gave you to do, to connect to you in some type of way. Yeah. They'll do that. So you have to be mindful who you accepting gifts from. Because some people's intentions on why they want you to accept it is just like destiny swapping. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you give somebody, okay, well, thank you, or you're going to accept it. Yeah. Everything free ain't free, because some things come with a goddamn open contract to it. Oh, they giving away school supplies and stuff like that. Who? Who giving it away? Because it's just like trick-or-treating. You know what I'm saying? It's free until your ass end up in the damn hospital because they got little razor blade pieces in the fucking candy apple. You get what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? You questioning Halloween for the rest of your life now. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, when it comes to you kid, keeping this dream journal, it's giving, the things that you may see in your dream state that's going to give you some answers to some of the things that you feel like, is not working for you or is challenging. You know what I'm saying? Whether this is for you or whether this is, somebody that's in your energy or somebody trying to pull on your energy. It's going through. And I feel like, you may get some clarity that way, in your dream state. The answers you may want, may come with, some of the things that you may need to go to your ancestors, you know what I'm saying? And talk, go to the Most High God, sit down, go out and get grounded and talk out loud, just like you're talking on the phone. And ask these questions and, have a heart to heart, you know what I'm saying, on what it is that really makes you happy. If it's something that you're working on right now that you're doing that you feel like ain't giving you the numbers or, the fulfillment that you thought it would or something like that, maybe that's not what you really want to do that makes you happy. What really makes you happy? Even if it's more than one thing, talk about it. Bring it up. You know what I'm saying? But don't let the challenges, how some people have changed their major just based on the fact that the classes that they might get may be too goddamn hard. They may feel like, oh shit, I got, trigonometry, I got that math, so I can't do criminal justice. You know what I'm saying? Because the math that I got to do, I don't want to do that. I'm going to have to change my major. People get challenged by shit like that because they don't feel like they, can do that. They don't want to be challenged. The challenge is too damn hard. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just rising to the occasion and trusting the process. Because either way, you're going to have to learn some math. You're going to have to do some math. It may not be your strongest subject. But some people learn, certain things that is not as hard as they think it is. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it requires too much of the, them have to pay attention. That's most of the time what somebody's issue is. They attention span is not very long. You know what I'm saying? And their memory is not very long. Some people got a very short, more of a short-term memory than a long-term memory. And long-term memory don't happen unless you got, something so traumatic that, it marks or it's like a milestone in your life and you just never forget it. You know what I'm saying? You can heal from it, but it ain't gonna never just not come up and, come to mind. But short-term memory is a lot of things that, don't really hold no significance, or relevance or something like that. It's just the fact that you was there, you was aware of it, things like that. Or you just really didn't give a fuck about it. So, somebody would really have to remind you, or it's in the back of your mind, but bits and pieces of it, may, stick out, but not in its entirety. For you to just give it to somebody, play by play like you would something that was traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference. But But like I said, when it comes to somebody finding out why he, really with her, like somebody get some swift action here, 8 of Wands with the devil. Like somebody, either moving away, traveling, or coming towards somebody, taking some type of action, but it's big changes. You know what I'm saying? Some rapid, some fast changing that somebody doing, to get rid of, this negativity, this toxic, behavior that they done had with this devil. Capricorn energy, Sagittarius. But like I said, you got heavy Pisces, that was going on with this, somebody finding out why he really with her. Clarify code. Yeah, you got the 7 of Swords. Aquarius energy. And you got the Hangman at the bottom of the deck. So somebody goddamn is having some type of fear of sacrificing. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's afraid to, make sacrifices and shit like that. They may have turned to some type of group, you know what I'm saying? Just out of, resisting some type of spiritual influence. You know what I'm saying? Somebody may have, definitely felt some type of way when it comes to being deceptive. You know what I'm saying? Not being honest. I don't know if somebody questioned another person, or somebody was trying to say this about somebody, being in this or something like that. Why the 7 of Swords with this code? Clarify the 7 of Swords. What's the 7 of Swords? Why the 7 of Swords? 10 of Cups. With the Queen of Swords. Look up angel number 17. But I feel like with this Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck, the 3 of Swords, and the 5 of Wands, it's giving me somebody, took whatever somebody's communication was, however they spoke, or whatever they, boundaries were, or took, the way somebody, saw things, the way they, communication is, they very clear. Somebody may, speaks up for themselves, but you speak with authority. You got boundaries. Somebody took your boundaries, and you being so insightful about shit. Like somebody took that to be something they felt like, you was, using that as a way to say that you were part of some type of, system, or you know what I'm saying, the way you see things or the way you go about doing things may have triggered somebody. Like somebody could have like some childhood trauma or something like that, or they got some, relationship baggage or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But it could be also involving somebody that feels like, they got some unhealed things about them that may be something that a divine feminine trigger somebody about. Like, I could be talking to a seer, a truth teller, but I feel like when you get into what you're saying and you point some things out, could be an empath as well. Because I know I'm talking to like somebody that is a divine feminine. The Empress, the High Priestess. Queen of Pentacles. Like, somebody is an empath. They're a seer, also, but somebody's a truth teller. But I feel like because of that and the way you speak, like somebody feels like there's some dishonesty or something like that, or some trickery or something that, either Aquarius picked up on or something like that when it comes to some type of communication. You know what I'm saying? And this Three of Swords is giving, like trauma and fear, especially with this Five of Wands. $35 could be of significance, 53. Because it's given like somebody could be, back and forth and having, arguments, you know what I'm saying, disputes and shit like that with this Five of Wands. And it could be something that somebody battling with within. Especially if they feel like, there's some type of tension or like there are some rivals. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if somebody was trying to come up against another person, by way of like spiritual warfare. Like somebody trying to use their words against somebody to like, demonize them in some way or some, try to make somebody out to be like a dark spirited person, dark entity or something. But somebody was being sneaky and deceptive about, dishonest about a Ten of Cups. Like if somebody was trying to say, they wasn't involved or they wasn't, like they wasn't doing something behind the scenes, to get this Ten of Cups with them. And I feel like somebody was in some type of competition with another person on some spiritual shit. If not fit, if not in real time. You know what I'm saying? Because this is about somebody, possibly being doing some shit behind the scenes, Seven of Swords, and thinking they got away with it. And this Seven of Swords is clarified by this Ten of Cups. If your communication and the way you speak, and your insightfulness, when it comes to you being unbiased about the things that you talk about, not, being judgmental and shit like that, just letting, respecting other people's views and shit like that on whatever it is or however they live their life. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody may be on some shit behind the scenes where they doing some shit behind the scenes to try to get to this Ten of Cups with somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody trying to create, obstacles or like wearing a mask, when it comes to who the fuck is actually the real person and who is on some fuckery, who is being deceitful. And I feel like somebody trying to say an Aquarius is doing this, is like that or some shit like that. Or trying to say that they, you know what I'm saying, or saying that an Aquarius trying to say this, or saying it's something like that. Because this is about, like I said, some type of betrayal. What's the Seven of Swords with the Ten of Cups? Ten of Pentacles. 10-10. Could be seeing angel number 10-10. What's the Seven of Swords with the Ten of Cups? Give me one more on the Seven of Swords with the Ten of Cups. What's the Seven of Swords with the Ten of Cups? Yeah. So you could be getting some clarity about this, or somebody, is, a new beginning here when it comes to a new opportunity, but it could be the beginning of some type of conflict because of, you got the Temperance at the bottom of the deck with Sagittarius, all right? So somebody's cooperating with others, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's their spirit team, or the universe, or they, finding better solutions in a situation when it comes to finding, a more realistic, but mature way of handling things. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to balance. But, this is somebody possibly choosing a self in a situation and, you know what I'm saying, ending out cycles and shit like that and moving forward with this victory. You know what I'm saying? And it also could be, someone actually finding balance now, and releasing themselves from whatever this, thieving ass energy that, somebody was in, or trying to say another person was in, that was actually just, doing shit behind the scenes and trying to tell somebody that another person is in a cult, that they in some type of coven or some shit like that. Or not telling somebody that that's what they involved in, as to why they were trying to get with your person. They may have been adamant, you know what I'm saying, about this person coming towards them. They could have been doing some divination, on this person, to keep them around or keep them, stuck with them or some shit like that. Or this person did not know that they was involved with somebody that was into what they into. You know what I'm saying? So, with this Seven of Swords is, like I said, somebody was, on some fuckery. They were, talking in codes and riddles and shit like that and doing shit behind the scenes, talking to somebody, being dishonest about who and what they actually involved in or what they, agenda actually is. And it was his Ten of Cups, his Ten of Pentacles. Somebody wanted, somebody's spiritual inheritance, or they wanted, what, was something that wasn't there. Somebody wanted it. It's almost like somebody wanted somebody else's destiny. They wanted, whatever, they, and this person could pull cards on people and shit like that, or this person, or they were doing it when they got with this person and they continued to do it while they were with them. That, you know what I'm saying, that may not be for everybody or somebody in particular. But Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, somebody got some clarity about you, or somebody realizing you got some clarity, but this, like I said, could be the start of, some conflict. But it's new opportunities here. You know what I'm saying? But it's, clarity that's coming at a time where somebody, at one time may have, not seen, like I said, the forest for the trees, because whatever it was that somebody was trying to, make, or whatever they thought, was success, was really an illusion. Somebody was making somebody believe that whatever they was, supposed to be or have, or whatever they had going on with somebody else was actually going somewhere, and it really wasn't. It really wasn't. It wasn't going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted this person to believe that they were somebody that they wasn't, that, they wasn't involved in this and they wasn't doing that behind the scenes. And some folks, like I said, you end up finding out some people, dibble and dabble in certain shit after you done walked away from them, or the minute you think about walking away from them. That's why it's not good to fuck with free will. Because if your intentions ain't pure and what you're doing towards somebody else, I seen a girl talking about she had did a breakup, some breakup divination on a dude that ain't even with her no more. The dude ain't even with her no more. He done moved on to somebody else, but she done did some type of breakup divination to the couple or whatever, and, just happy and, you know what I'm saying, and go lucky about that shit. And I'm like, I just blocked it. I could just scroll past here, but in real life and online, I'd be the same goddamn way. I would absolutely quietly walk the fuck away from somebody on some bullshit like that. Cause yeah, That person would do that after somebody that moved on from them and ain't and left them with their life, left them with their sanity, and then you go fuck with somebody else's sanity and not that dude. You know what I'm saying? You went and broke them and this dude and this female up. Why? Cause he don't want you no more? That shit crazy. And it's just like some folks just feel like they need to be needed and wanted by everybody they with. Nobody should want to let me go. That's why you got so many people now that feel like, folks that end up with these bad connections and shit like that ain't as smart as people want them to think they is, because, they making time, for abusive people and keeping quiet and protecting them and ain't telling nobody and shit like that. I'm like one of them dudes said on TikTok, I think his name King Storm or King Storm or something like that. But shout out to him. But I'm in total agreement with him, because if I'm around somebody and they going through some abusive shit, I'm gonna be like him. Shit, if I'm on the same level. Let me find out, your daddy, your auntie, or somebody that you don't, they don't play about you, don't know that person putting their hand on you. I'm finna go tell them. I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna go tell them. Because ain't no motherfucking way. It's too many people, folks shouldn't have to be putting their loved ones in the ground and shouldn't be having to see them, being dismembered and sitting in somebody's morgue with body parts missing because they didn't really bury them over some shit. I mean, and they started, doing the person injustice. You know what I'm saying? Because these days, people don't just put your people in the ground. They got to do some more injustice to them by taking something out of them that don't belong to them. Just to, do other shit with. You know what I'm saying? What they entire about. You thinking you laying your loved one to rest. It ain't shit in that ground. And you paying top dollar for, a funeral for what? That shit crazy. You know what I'm saying? But when you get the clarity, when you get the truth, you can't argue with that. But people will do it all the time. People will get rid of you to keep the truth from coming out. That's how deadly the truth is. But at this point, it's like somebody was doing something behind the scenes, like they, you know what I'm saying, ain't on some fuckery, some trickery, and some deceit, but they in some type of cult. And somebody want to use the way somebody else talk and, the information that they know, the insightfulness that they give. You know how somebody can give you some insight about something and don't even dabble in it. They don't even do that shit. It's like somebody telling you how to do, how some of these practitioners, some of the things that practitioners know, you can know a little something about that, but you may not even do none of it. Which ain't nothing wrong with that if you do. But I'm saying it's the fact that you know too much about something. Folks, oh shit, they must be into it then. They know so much about it. But don't fuck around and find out, because the information is power. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is power. And if we start believing that every time we get some insight about something, it's something that, oh my God, I found out about this. Okay. Knowledge is knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you get it from, be thankful. Especially if it's the damn truth. Because God will use a sinner. He'll use somebody that you definitely don't want to follow in, don't want to subscribe to their channel. You don't want to, get them no props. You don't want to give them a you don't have to. But if God sends somebody with a message, it's up to you what you do with it once you receive it, once you heard it. You know what I'm saying? It's on you what you do with it. They did their part. You can go do some divination on them folks all you want because they delivered the message, and you're going to get that in the message that you got from them. You're going to get that in tenfold if you go fucking with them. Because all they did was tell you what it was. That's all they did. And when you awaken and you on your mission and you on your assignment, you're going to be under the same damn fire with people. You're going to be under the same brimstone that you've been throwing at somebody else. And that's why some people are afraid to awaken. They're afraid to believe the truth because they don't know what to do with themselves once they do. Okay, once I awaken, okay, then what? Oh my God, exactly. And that fear is going to guide you. Ain't nothing the Most High God can do with you when you're in fear. You have to release that in order for things to start, appearing and showing up and working out for you, so you know that God is the Most High God is who He said He is. It's who he keeps showing you all the time, and through others he is. And what can be done. But you have to do your part in that too. You know what I'm saying? You can't get something for nothing. And if you think you are, getting something for nothing because of the way you're getting it, you'll find out sooner than later that ain't all you. That ain't all you. You know what I'm saying? And some folks don't want to admit that, but whoever this is in this group, they definitely is doing some shit behind the scenes to get a 10 of cups, 10 of pentacles. Somebody wants somebody else's destiny. They want somebody else's inheritance. And this could be about an inheritance. Whoever this in this damn group. This is about them taking 10 of cups and, possibly divine unions and splitting them up so they can, keep them from coming together so they can get these people inheritance. You know what I'm saying? So the universe now is having to balance something out, and somebody is actually, being patient and finding balance, when it comes to them, doing some shit in moderation. Because I feel like somebody may have done something excessively. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if somebody went and tried to do something, just ignoring the warning signs and shit like that, or ignoring red flags because somebody kept doing something, repeatedly. But now it's like somebody got to wait on the universe to balance some things out. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to finding a better solution in situations, you know what I'm saying? Cooperating, self-control. You know what I'm saying? Stop being so triggered by everything that, is going on. Because somebody want to come in with an offer. They may have, this cycle may be over. You know what I'm saying? You may have closed out a cycle with this person. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. It could have ended in some, some deep wounds. You know what I'm saying? Like something could have, ended in some type of betrayal. You know what I'm saying? But somebody got to close out this cycle, or somebody closing out this cycle. This is how they got this victory. It's like somebody coming in, to give you this equal give and take. You know what I'm saying? New love, or this is, some new emotions, you know what I'm saying? An emotional awakening for somebody, that's going to probably more than likely come with a tower that you probably going to be shocked by. You know what I'm saying? What's the overall outcome in this situation? What's the overall outcome in this situation? Got the Queen of Cups. And the Justice. Give me one more. Overall outcome. And you got the Moon that landed over here on this coast. Group of cards. And somebody is gaining some clarity about somebody in this damn group. Somebody gaining some clarity, about whatever it was that somebody done under some moon cycle or some shit like that. It's somebody releasing, fear. You know what I'm saying? They could be fighting back, you know what I'm saying? Finding the truth in a situation, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio could be a Pisces, but somebody finding the truth. You got the moon that came out, like I said, it landed over here. Somebody finding out the truth about, what somebody involved in. And what and who is and who ain't, you know what I'm saying? But it's, somebody dealing with some suppressed emotions as well. Like they could have been holding back, some things and dishonest about, I don't know, somebody may be, playing games or something like that, or they, were doing some shit behind the scenes. But this is some suppressed emotions that somebody may have been dealing with too, that, is coming to light. They're gaining some clarity. And I feel like whatever somebody, been trying to hold back, especially when it comes to, them getting over this anxiety of things that they may have felt like expressing and being vulnerable and talking about their feelings and shit like that, especially if somebody wanted them to believe that somebody was involved with somebody else or something like that, and they just held back their emotions, especially if they thought, it was somebody else. And if they thought, an Aquarius or somebody was doing something behind the scenes, this person, Somebody was in another person's ear, like, just creating, some chaos, keeping somebody confused. But I feel like now, with the moon being out here in reverse, moving forward, somebody gaining some clarity about the truth. They finding out the truth about a Queen of Cups when it comes to this justice. But I feel like, their heart chakra is activated. Somebody activated another person's heart chakra. But this is about, them taking accountability, but also looking at cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? Like realizing why something, ended up looking the way it looked. But this Queen of Cups, somebody's, definitely an empath. Like I said, somebody's an empath. Somebody's a divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like somebody was with somebody that was actually, you know what I'm saying, not as intuitive as they say they were. And I feel like somebody also, this Queen of Cups, like somebody knows that another person, feels energy, like your energy compared to somebody else's versus somebody else's. So moving forward, there's a Queen of Cups that's getting some justice because, this person gaining clarity and finding out the truth is the justice. This is your justice. So whether they wanted to believe you or didn't want to, ignored some things or something like that, or somebody kept lying to this person about who you were and all that, they finding out the truth, just not from you. You know what I'm saying? You done been walked away from this person when they find out this truth. But they getting the clarity one way or the other. And you gonna get it too, that they got it. So I'm gonna end it here. Collective, you guys, make sure you do something nice for someone today, even if you don't know them. In the meantime, those of you that genuinely love me, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe. All right? But those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.